Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this live. My name is Kofi. So today, I want to work on simplifying square root. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna start. One moment. Okay, perfect. So I'm sharing now my screen. Okay, so feel free, to join this session and ask your question in the chat. Okay, so I can answer your questions based on what we are doing. So there is an issue. There is an issue here why the things not show up. There is an issue, right? One moment, let's fix the issue. Seems like there is an issue. So sharing. Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. Okay. Can you see my screen? Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yes, it's fine. Perfect. Okay, again, sorry about that. Okay, now let's start. Yes, so today I want to work on how to simplify square roots. So you have different questions here. We have 8 questions. Some are challenging, yes. But let's first of all give you the concept. Understand that. Okay? Yes, you can. So your attention is very important. Okay, so the basic concepts are this. The symbol for square root is this. So every time you see this symbol, that is a square root. And we call that radical. So sometimes we say we call square root radical, okay, square root of a 9, with like a radical 9. Okay. For example, if I have a this, so this is square root of 9. And the answer is what? 3. We'll see in a few seconds, okay, why is 3. Now, when a number is multiplied by itself, let's say 3. I take a 3, I multiply 3 by itself, okay? The resulting number, a product, is a perfect square. Yes. So the resulting here is what? If I multiply 3 by 3, I get 9. That's the result. And this 9, we call it a perfect square. Therefore, that number is the square root of the perfect square. The square root of the perfect square. So square root of the perfect square is 9. So if I take a square root of 9, I get the number I have in the beginning, which is 3. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? Let's see. Okay. No problem. Okay. So now let's see the list of some perfect squares. So 1 is a perfect square. Why 1 is a perfect square? Because 1 is same as 1 multiplied by 1, or 1 raised to second power. So you square 1, you get to 1, which is a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square because 4 is same as 2 multiplied by 2. A number multiplied by itself, it gets a result, and that result is a perfect square. If I take 81, 81 is a perfect square because 9 multiplied by 9 gives you 81. Therefore, if you want to find the square root, so I want to find square root of 81. The question I'm going to ask myself is, self, do you know any number multiplied by itself give you 81? That number is 9. So therefore, the answer here is 9. And we have that 9 without the square root. So we have a regular number here when it's out of the radical. Also understand that every time you see, okay, square root of 81, we can write it as square root of a 9 multiplied by square root of a 9. Yeah. So it's like I break it down. So we're going to use this a lot in this session. So break it down, okay? Break it down. Okay, so I break it down as a 2 square root, where I'm asking myself, what number multiplied by itself give me 81? The answer is 9. So I put 9 again and I put 9 here. Okay, so because I have square root of 9 multiplied by square root of 9, the answer will be a regular 9. So I want you to understand that. Every time you see, for example, square root of, let's say 7, multiplied by the same square root of a 7, this will give you regular 7. Yeah, this will give you regular 7. Any questions so far? No, all right. Okay, regular 7. But also understand that, yes, the reason we have square root of a 7 multiplied by square root of 7, okay, is that 7 multiplied by 7 give you what? 49. And if you go in this table here, somewhere here we have a 49, which is this one. Okay, so there 49 is telling you that it's a perfect square and it came from 7 multiplied by 7. Therefore, the square root of that perfect square gives me 7. Like we have it here. Okay, so I think, the basic concept is understood. Now, let's see what's going to happen. So I go here. We want to simplify square root of 32. So the question is, what is, okay, square root of 32 expressed in simplest radical form? Okay, the thing is this. Can we say that 32 is a perfect square? No, 32 is not a perfect square. If I go back to the table, 32 is not a perfect square. We have a 36 as a perfect square. We have a 25 as a perfect square. So 32 have to be between 25 and the 36. So that means what? I cannot use this table to find the answers for square root of 32 to say, okay, it's like a 6 or it's like a 5. No, it has to be a decimal value if you use a calculator. But the way they ask this question is not to give decimal value, is to work it out. So the answer will be a radical, but in simplest form. Now, that's what you're going to learn, okay, how to simplify. So when we have a question like this, we have a square root of 32, right? We're going to break it down. We will try to break it down as a 2 radicals, okay? 2 radicals. So the best way to get this quick is that from the 2 radicals, one will be a perfect square. So it's like we are finding 2 numbers, we multiply together to get 32. But one of the numbers will be a perfect square. So here I can say, okay, 16 and the 2. Do you know that 16 multiplied by 2 give you 32? Yes. And do you know that 16 is a perfect square? Yes. So break it down like this. That makes it simple for me. Oh, I know that. Okay. The square root of a 16 is turned to a regular 4. It's not a square root of 4, but a regular 4. Why? Because that 16 is a 4 multiplied by 4. But the square root of a 2 stays square root of a 2. Okay, because we cannot break it down anymore. We cannot simplify. So therefore, the answer here is 4 square root of a 2, which is choice number 2. Any question? Okay, again, feel free, for question. Okay, I think it's understood. Yeah, if you are watching this, after the live, okay, feel free, to leave any comment. I will reply to this later. Now, question number 2. The expression square root of a 50 can be simplified too. So again, it's not to use a calculator to find square root of a 50. If you do that, it'll give you a decimal. And also 50 is not a perfect square. So you cannot say, oh, square root of 50 is just a regular number. No. But we can simplify. Like again, we're going to break it down. Okay. Now, do you know that it's possible to find two numbers, right? Where you multiply the two numbers, you get a 50. But from the two numbers, one is a perfect square. Yes, I can use 25 and 2. Yeah. Okay. A question, yeah, just came to my mind. Suppose someone the 2 before the 25. Yes, it's also fine. Now let's see what's going to happen. So for the blue side, do you know that square root of 25 is a regular 5? Yes. Why? Because 25 is a perfect square. And as a perfect square, okay, the square root give you a regular number. So what number multiplied by itself give you 25? That number is 5. So we have a regular 5, and we keep the square root here of 2. Okay, so therefore, the correct choice is choice number 1. Okay, also understand this. For the red part, if you use square root of a 2 before the square root of a 25, it's not bad. Let's see what's going to happen. We're going to keep this square root of a 2 because we cannot break it down anymore. 2 is not a perfect square, but you cannot break it down 2. Now, the square root of a 25, this gives you a regular 5. So you have a square root of a 2. Understand that it's a multiplication here between these two numbers. It's a multiplication. It's a multiplication. So you have a square root of a 2 multiplied by a regular 5. Okay. Every time you have a multiplication between square root and the regular number will be placed, in front of the square root. So that means what? This will move it here. So they're gonna have a 5 square root of a 2. So another way to understand is this: having square root of a 2 multiplied by 5. This tells that you have square root of a 2 5 times. So it's like you have a square root of a 2 1 time, square root of a 2 2 times, square root of 2 3 times, square root of 2 4 times, square root of 2 5 times. So 5 times, that means you have a 5 square root of 2. So you have a square root of 2 5 times. That's the reason we need to play that 5, out of the square root. Okay, we continue. The question, next question, question number 3. Okay, so again, we want to simplify square root of 72. So the question is 72 a perfect square? No. If you go back to the table, there is no number multiplied by itself give you 72. But yes, there is a way we can simplify this. So again, we take a square root of 72. We're going to break it down. So can we find a number, okay, multiplied by another number, okay, give me 72, where from the two numbers, one is a perfect square? Yes. So I can use a 2 multiplied by 36. Yes. 2 multiplied by 36 give me 72. So to better simplify square root, first we have to understand perfect square, okay, and also be good in the multiplication table. So times table is very important. Now, the square root of a 2, we keep that because we cannot simplify anymore. But what about square root of 36? Yes, we can do. So square root of 36 give you regular 6. As I explained it, this is a multiplication between. Okay, so I have a square root of a 2 6 times. Therefore, I will place that 6, okay, before the square root of a 2. So the correct choice here is this choice, number 3. Any questions so far? No question, right? Okay. So I think everything is understood. Yep. So the next question, question number 4. Let's see how we can solve this. One of the challenge questions. When square root of 72 is expressed in simplest, okay, A, square root of a B form, what is the value of A? Okay, so you have to understand that A here is a number, is a regular number, which will be in front of the square root. And the B is another number, regular number inside the symbol, the square root symbol. Okay, so this is the same question from question number 3. Okay, so because we solve question number 3, this question will be simple to solve. So again, is to break it down the square root of 72, which we already did as a 36 here and the 2 here. So we have 6 square root of 2. So this is telling you that the 6 outside, this is A, and the 2 inside is B. Okay, but here they ask you for A. So it's just to take the number you have outside, and that number is 6. So the answer here is choice number 1. Okay. Let's see this one. Perfect. The expression square root of 150 is equivalent to. Okay, this question I will solve it in 2 different ways. Yeah, 2 different ways. The first way is that having square root of 150, right? Okay, we're gonna break it down as 2 numbers where one will be a perfect square. But suppose I'm trying to find what perfect square I can multiply by 150 to get, sorry, I multiply by another number to get 150. Maybe it's hard for me to do it mentally, but no problem. We could just try to do it step by step, which is what? First of all, I try to use 2. That means what? Can I multiply 2 by a number to get 150, which is similar to divide 150 by 2? Okay, so if I do that, I get 75. So that means what? 2 multiplied by 75 is 150. Therefore, square root of 150 is same as the square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 75. Okay, I keep going. So the next step, I'm going to keep this square root of 2, but I will try to break it down the square root of 75. Yeah. So again, I will try to see if that works with a 2. No, I cannot multiply 2 by a number which is not a decimal, okay, to get 75. First of all, 75 is odd number, so ODD. So therefore, I cannot, divide it by 2, or I cannot find the 2 multiplied by a number to get 75. So I move to 3. Okay, 2 doesn't work, move to 3. Can we multiply 3 by a number to get 75? Or can we divide 75 by 3, where the answer will be not be a decimal? Sure. So if I use a 3, I will have 25. So 3 multiplied by 25 is 75. Okay. Now, we continue. I cannot break it down 2. I cannot break it down 3. But I can find square root of 25 because 25 is a perfect square. So this gives me a regular 5. So 5 without a square root. Now, I have a square root of 2. I have a square root of 3. And the again, there is a multiplication between. So there is no way I can break it down again, these numbers. So I need to just put it together, which means what? Okay, the answer will be, I have the 5, which is a regular, always that will be in front, that will not be inside the square roots. And now because I have a square root of 2 and a square root of 3, I multiply them to get square root of 6. So understand that square root of 2 and the square root of 3 join to get the square root of 6. Or if you have a square root of 6, you can break it down square root of 2, square root of 3. Okay, so that's the you have to understand. So the answer here is 5 square root of 6. The correct choice is 3. Now the thing is this: suppose you are good in the multiplication table. Okay, if you are good in multiplication table, yes, you can try to see this as what? Okay, if you have a square root of 150, break it down as 2 numbers where one will be a perfect square, and that will be the highest perfect square we can get. Okay, multiply by another number, give you this. So that highest perfect square will be 25. And here you have a 6. So this is telling you that if you have a 25, you multiply 6, you get 150. Therefore, square root of a 150 is a square root of a 25 multiplied by square root of a 6. And then you see that that is quick. So the square root of a 25 will give you a regular 5, and we keep the square root, so we get the same answer, 5 square root of 6. But again, it's not a big deal. Okay, you can go step by step, but you're gonna find the same answer. Another method. Okay, so I have a square root of a 50, right? 150. I could also do it like this. Okay, anytime you have a number end with a zero, like here we have a zero here at the end. So this is telling you that it's a number multiplied by 10. Okay, so the other digit, which is 15, multiplied by 10. So square root of 150 is same as the square root of 15 multiplied by 10. So this time, it's not that I have one number as a perfect square, but it's another method. Okay, so square root of 15 is possible again to break it down. I can use the square root of 3 multiplied by square root of 5. Yes, and the square root of 10 also I can break it down. I can use square root of 5 and the square root of 2. Okay, I cannot break it down anymore. But now let's see what's gonna happen. You see in the middle, this together give me regular 5. Yeah, remember I said that every time you have a square root of a number, so let's say like a square root of 11 multiplied by another the same square root of 11, this gives me 11, regular 11 without a square root. Yes, so that is one way, because some people will say, okay, if you multiply together you get a square root of 121, which is also correct, and 121 is a plus square, so the square root of 121 gives you the same 11. Okay, so this is telling you that every time you have a square root of a number multiplied by square root of the same number, that gives you that same number without a square root, which is the case here. Now, we keep square root of 3, we keep square root of 2. Understand that this is a multiplication between all these three numbers. So therefore, my answer will be that regular number first, which is 5. Okay, so because I cannot break it down any more square root of 3, I cannot break it down any more square root of 2, I need to multiply them. So therefore, I'm going to have 2 multiplied by 3, which is 6 in the square root. So the answer is same as 5 square root of 6, like before. Yeah, so you have many possibilities to solve this. We continue. Question number 6. So any question in the chat so far? Okay. Question number 6. So this question number 6, you have to understand that it's a little bit tricky, right? They say 5, 5 square root of a 20. So that means you have a square root of 20 5 times. Square root of 20 plus another square root of 20 plus another square root of 20. You have it 5 times. So together we say 5 square root of 20. Okay. So 5 square root of 20 is written in simplest radical form. Okay. So when this is written in simplest form, the result is k square root of 5. What is the value of k? Before you answer this question, you have to simplify completely. Yeah, completely. So the 5, okay, is fine, but we need to break it down the square root of a 20. Okay, so we know that in 20, I can find two numbers, multiply together to get 20, while one is a perfect square. So that number is 4, and the other one will be 5. Okay, so we have this 5 outside. I break it down the square root of 20, but I keep the 5 outside. So do you know that this is same as the 5? Now the square root of 4 is a regular to understand that this is a multiplication between, and we multiply this by square root of 5. Okay, what's gonna happen? I have a regular 5, I have regular 2. So you multiply both, you get regular 10. Okay, multiply by square root of 5. Let's put it here to show you something. So I have a 10 square root of 5, which is same as 10 multiplied by square root of 5. So based on the question, they say k square root of 5. So I get that square root of 5. Okay. Therefore, the k is what I have outside, and my k is 10. The correct choice here is number 2. Yeah. Another way to understand this, because they say to write this in k, okay, square root of 5 form, this is telling you that when you break it down the 20, one of the numbers will be 5. So that is another way you say, okay, what number I can multiply by 5 to get 20? So it have to be 4. So it's like a hint. See? Okay, let's continue. Question number 7. Again, okay, any question, feel free. Yep, feel free. Okay, so Yeah. One moment. Check something. Okay. Okay. So we have a 2 square root of 45 again in simplest form. So we take a 2 square root of 45. We're gonna keep the 2, but we try to break it down the square root of 45 as square root of two numbers, where one will be a perfect square. So again, knowing your times table will be so helpful. So 45, can we find two numbers multiply together get 45, where one is a perfect square? Of course. So we can find 9 and the 5. And the 9 is a perfect square. Therefore, I keep the 2 here. The square root of a 9 change to a regular 2, understand that the multiplication between, and multiply this by square root of 5. I cannot break it down the square root of 5. Okay, so I keep that square root of 5, but I can multiply 2 by 3, and I get 6 square root of 5. So the answer is 6 square root of 5, which is choice number 3. Okay, the next one. Yeah, this is the last question, right? Okay, so which expression is equivalent to 7 square root of 90? Okay, again, we can use a different method, but let's just make it simple. If I have a 7 square root of a 90, like I said it before, I have a number, okay, end with 0. That number is then multiplied by the other digit before that 0. So this is me that I'm gonna have 7. Okay, I can break this down as 9 and the 10. Understand that 9 multiplied by 10 is 90, and the 9 is a perfect square. So it's easier for me to use this method instead of dividing by 2. But we can also do that. Okay, so this gives me 7 multiplied by regular 3 without a square root. After you find that, okay, the number inside is a perfect square, when you use the square root, you get a regular number, which is what number multiplied by 7 give you that perfect square. And we keep the square root of a 10. The thing is this, if you see that, oh, yes, you're going to break the square root of a 10 to get square root of a 5 multiplied by square root of 2. Yes, you can break it down like that. But in this specific question, that is not helpful because there is no other square root of a 5 or no other square root of a 2, okay, I can put together to get a regular number. So therefore, I cannot break it down the square root of a 2 in this specific question. I leave it like that. Now, what's going to happen? 7 multiplied by 3 is 21, and you get the square root of 10. So this is telling you your answer, the correct choice is this one here. Okay, suppose someone want to use a different method, which is also fine. So here you keep the 7, regular 7. Now the radical, you break it down as square root of. So we try to see, okay, if you can divide this number by 2. Yes, you can divide by 2. So you get the 45. Okay, and you get here 2. 45 is not a perfect square. 2 is not a perfect square. That means what? We need to continue. So it's equal to, we take the same 7. Now this time we can break it down to 45. In that case, okay, can we divide it by 2 again? No, because it's a odd number. Can we divide it by 3? Yes, you can divide by 3. But if you know your times table, you can just use a 9 and the 5. But suppose you say, okay, you divide by 3. You get a 15 here, and here you get 3. Now the square root of a 2, we keep it. Okay, this is a long way, but that could also happen because some students or some people, they don't know how to find that quick, so they have to go step by step. That's fine. So let's guide you. So now you have a 7. We keep that 7. But because 15 here, we need to break it down again. So you're going to have what? Square root of a 5, square root of a 3. Okay, we keep this square root of a 3. We keep this square root of a 2. Now let's see what's gonna happen. I cannot break it down anymore. I stop there, okay? But I can change something. So I take the regular 7. This is square root of 3 multiplied by square root of 3. That will change it to another regular number, which is gonna be regular 3. Now, what I have here is a square root of 5, nothing to do with that, I keep. Square root of a 2, nothing to do with that, I keep. Okay, my final answer will be what? I multiply, so I think yeah, my pictures had this right. Okay, let's go on top here. What I have a 7, this is the last question. Let's make it like this. 7 multiplied by 3 multiplied by square root of a 5. Okay, multiplied by square root of 2. Okay, so the thing is this. I can multiply, 7 by 3 to get a 21. Okay. And now because radical 5, I cannot break it down anymore. Radical 2, I cannot break it down anymore. Therefore, I need to multiply these two to get a 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. So my answer is 21, okay, square root of 10, which is what we got here. Okay, we have more, but this will come in another session. Understand this, overall, practice make perfect. Yeah, you have to practice. So feel free, to like this video, okay, share and subscribe if you are not yet one of my subscribers. Thank you so much, and see you in another live. Bye bye.